Hi folks, Puffin here with your Antifa News Briefa for September 8th, 2021. This one's about the garbage truck analogy for capitalism, politics, and the Taliban. So previously I had a video about how two rival garbage truck companies are a good analogy for a capitalism system and capitalist political system that we have in America anyway. That if these two rival garbage truck companies are actually run by the same company, then they have one go bad and drive customers to the other one, and they have that one go bad and drive customers back. Neither of them get better, they just get more expensive and everything gets worse. And it's just a simple analogy for Republicans and Democrats. Democrats are always the ones who would be making things better. Instead, they kind of just hold the place. Republicans make it worse. So a more extreme example of this, not that there's not good things about having Democrats in power. There certainly are. But you need to be able to hold them to account to become as progressive as possible to actually make progress in the opposite direction from fascism, the direction that the right wing always wants to go. So this garbage truck analogy also applies to what's going on with the Taliban. If you look at it like the Taliban and the American USA are enemies, or rivals or something, then you would understand in a certain way. But if you look at them as both being operated from the same side or having, the same people in power of both of the American military and the Taliban, they're not really against each other. Then it looks a little different because we've been at war with the Taliban. They can say it was Al Qaeda, but they've also been obviously keeping the Taliban out of power all this time for 20 years. Didn't win it. Then they came back and won the country back over in 3 days. And 3 days later, they're talking about how legitimate they are. How to legitimize the Taliban government. And it's not really a legitimate government because, nobody voted for it. They just came and swept into power through force of fear. And the ultimate truth is that we put that whole network into America put that whole network into place back in the 80s. A lot of people know this. It's not like a secret conspiracy. It's just something a lot of people don't know. But a lot of people know that that's true. So you can see easily how, and that includes Osama bin Laden, who Reagan called a freedom fighter when he was funding and supporting him. And also supporting them ideologically, because it's a perversion of Islam. It's not Islam. They're not Muslims. They're terrorists. They've turned on their religion to make this weird branch. But we turned them on that. Like America put that corrupted theology out there. So I think even Hillary Clinton said something about putting that corrupted theology out there. I just saw a recent quote about that today on somebody's YouTube comment. Anyway, point is that they have been playing both sides. Right now, it's kind of like Putin's playing both sides. He was playing Trump, like Trump was Putin's puppet, and the Taliban are apparently operating for Putin, as far as I can tell, because it's all orchestrated through Trump's people, and the handover was orchestrated through Trump himself and the people that Trump's had in power in Afghanistan. So the point is that when they play both sides, they can make it, these are the bad guys, and then, okay, well, we're supposed to be the good guys because they're the bad guys. But there really aren't bad guys. They're making the bad guys in order to play the good guys. And we don't need any of it. We don't need this game at all. Like, basically, we can cancel war from now on. We can show that war is obsolete. These last two huge wars by the most expensive spending war country on earth don't work. But when you look at it like two different garbage truck companies, they're, pretending they're your only options. But really, you can just say, no, we're going to get one company and hold it to account, or we're going to, do it all a different way. But in that analogy, we can just change the system. We don't need this system that always relies on war and creating enemies and suffering and death to prop itself up. We can start a new system, convert the military into green energy conversion and rescue, because we're going to need that to deal with climate change, and stop setting any standards of needing to attack people or having anybody need to attack anybody else, and stop creating those situations, because we basically do that by putting the weapons out there and making sure people stay poor and disadvantaged so that terrorist groups become attractive. We have that problem in America. It's not like the terrorists, the Taliban, are all in Afghanistan. All these Trumpers are Taliban terrorists in America, and they're all because they're desperate, because they're disadvantaged. They have miserable lives. If they just had a Switch, if they just had a Nintendo, they would be happy. Like, seriously, we could have done that with some stimulus money, just get everybody a Nintendo. We could have a much better life. But they're relying on these people being miserable to get them to spread their evil propaganda and be threatening to people, just trolls. So, but they're not just trolls like an innocent thing, like it's just words on a screen. They result in terrible actions. So we need to stop it. We need to cut it out. That New York deputy mayor who just got arrested had a fake FBI badge. What did he have them for? You know, but they let him go. They let him back out. So, you know, there's these terrorists, these Taliban terrorists within the system in America that have infiltrated it. And, you know, they've always been the ones maybe secretly in power that make it this way, that make it where we're playing both sides of a war and stuff like that. We just need to get rid of them. America's good people. Besides, I mean, it's a good country. Besides that, but we can't just be a good country with that. We have to get rid of that to be the good country that we can be. So, thanks for watching and sharing, commenting, and yeah, let's not put up with either of these. Let's not put up with this whole capitalist scheme that the two different things, as long as they're competing, when ultimately they're the same thing and they're trying to cheat us and trying to rob us and trying to hurt us. And you know, we can stop them. We can either unify, make one thing and make it accountable, or we can diversify, do different things, do lots of different things so that no one has control over us like that. But it's really disappointing both in our media to see people saying, well, you know, how legitimate are the Taliban going to be? And our government, Joe Biden, is not only seeming to be like, yeah, well, maybe we will negotiate with you. I'm not ready to recognize them yet. He's not proposing a counter proposal, and he's not arresting Trump fast enough, or any of these Trumpers who are directly affecting people's lives by spreading this Trump virus genocide. Got to do that to have the respect and appreciation and to be fulfilling your duty to protect the country and the Constitution. And you know, people know it. So we've got to get maybe Bernie 2024, AOC 2028, but we've got to get for president and have Biden endorse him too. Let him know we're going to have this back to democracy, people's choice, and do things right and arrest these people that are standing in the way. Thanks. See you soon.